I got a white jacket. Hey guys, it's me, cyoubx. I was cleaning my desk the other day and I found a bunch of these things. Cube stands. We all have them. They come with basically every Moyu cube. They're kind of ubiquitous, and at the same time, I've never once used them because I think they're incredibly ugly. Now, it's not a problem with cube stands in particular. For example, this Chi clock stand, I think, does a fantastic job of presenting the puzzle, making it look like a really nice desk ornament. But the problem with traditional cube stands is they just don't make the cube look that interesting. So I wanted to make a cube stand that was a little bit cooler, maybe a little bit overkill, but at least something that I would use. Something that has been popping up over the past few months are these things called Tensegrity tables. They're also called levitating tables. Tensegrity structures are essentially structures where things are held together by tension, hence the name. It's usually a series of opposing strings or chains or ropes that keep two things apart yet together. And I've never made one before, so I figured, okay, let me try making one from scratch, and if it works out, I can use it as a cube stand. So this is the first prototype, and it looks hairy. Here, what I've done is I've modeled two triangular pieces. Well, they're actually the same piece, I just printed two of them. In the very middle here, it's actually held together by a short string, and so this is actually where most of the weight ends up going. On the outside, on the perimeter here, you can see that I have, well, in this case, 6 more strings. Some of them are loose because I didn't know what I was doing. When you put an object on the top of this structure, that force is going directly to this middle string. If it teeters to one side or another, these strings on the outside are providing tension and correcting it. So how's my prototype? So this is an XS, I think it's a 68 millimeter cube. I think it's a 68 gram cube. Yeah, it sucks. The reason this is so bad is because it's completely off center. If you look at it, you can see that it's already teetered. Like even just putting it on the surface, it's just not that stable. Along with that, I didn't have any strings, so I used dental floss, which is not the best material for this, clearly, and it smells minty. And I also had a hard time actually adjusting the strings. You can see that some of the strings are loose, some of them are tight. The connection points of the strings are not actually in the middle of the holes. Because I'm tying knots around objects, the end point of that knot is variable depending on how I tied the knot. So what I need to do is modify the model so that there's some notches in the structure itself so that the string can be closer to the hole and hopefully bring everything closer to the center. So here's the modified model. You can see that I added in some notches here, so when I tie the string around it, it's going to sit perfectly at this angle instead of off to this side or to this side as it currently does. Similarly, I added a notch right here. Same thing, it's going to keep the string more aligned in the middle of the structure, hopefully keeping everything a little bit more balanced. I also made the size quite a bit bigger. You can't tell on this screen, but this is like 30% bigger than the previous one. It's, again, just to make the base a little bit wider so that things are more stable. Now, one thing I am concerned about with this new model is the fact that we have this long pillar that's extending by itself unsupported, and if there's too much tension on it, I'm worried that we're just going to snap it clean off. In fact, on my smaller model, it was actually a big problem because I had printed it in this orientation. So because 3D printers go line by line, layer by layer in the Z-axis, there's actually less support horizontally. So in this case, if I have a pillar coming out from a flat surface like this is going to be a very weak part. So to fix that problem, I oriented the prints in such a way so that on the Z-axis, it's actually not going to be a weak point right here because everything's going to be fused together. Also, low-key, it had to be this way so that I could actually fit both things on a single platform, but it just sort of worked out. And after quite a lot of time tensioning and pulling on strings, we get this. For reference, this was the previous bad version. You can see it's quite a lot bigger. Yeah, this structure is way more stable. I'm only using 3 strings now. And yeah, I think it looks great. But now the moment of truth, let's see if we can actually support a cube. It's awesome. That's so cool. Typically with these structures, you want to use monofilament fishing line because it's invisible. It looks more appealing. It actually looks like these things are levitating instead of using something like dental floss. I happen to just get some fishing line in the mail. So let's actually rebuild this using that and see if it looks any better. Man, I just went to the bathroom and took a massive... All right, so this is the fishing line that I got. It's 30 pounds. No cubes. None of my cubes are 30 pounds, so this should be plenty strong. It's not very stretchy at all, which is perfect for this kind of project, and it's more or less invisible. So let's take this thing apart, put in the new string, and see if it works better. And we have the center string done. Doesn't look the best, but I think it'll be okay. Yeah, it's perfect. You can't really see it from all angles, but this cube is actually touching this center pillar. And the reason for that is because I made the center string too long. If this were shorter, this would be elevated and it would be a better fit. But you know what? This is still kind of a prototype and proof of concept. And yeah, I still think this looks pretty cool. And it's actually remarkably stable. Yeah, it's great. So anyway, that's my Tensegrity cube stand. I like it a lot. I think it looks cool. And if you guys are interested in making your own, I'll have the files hosted on Thingiverse, so you can download and 3D print these structures yourself. Other than that, the only other thing you'll need is fishing line and some patience. So hopefully some of you guys make it. Let me know what you think of it. There's a lot of ways to modify the files so that it looks even cooler. This is just a very basic demonstration of how the structure works, and it was my first time making a Tensegrity structure. So I had a lot of fun with it. It looks kind of cool. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, toodles.
All the pieces feel the same, don't they?